Hello, MedPack students. Today, Chieftain is going to be interviewing Max Semegran, who has started a fundraiser for the LLS Student of the Year campaign. Hi, Max. Thanks so much for joining me.
Hi, thank you for having me. I really appreciate this opportunity to talk about LLS and Students of the Year.
Of course. So, to start off, what is LLS and Students of the Year?
That's a great question, and an important one too. So LLS stands for the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society, and its mission is to try to improve the care for patients who suffer from blood cancers like lymphoma and leukemia, and also to try to find new cures for these far-reaching diseases that impact a lot of families. Actually, LLS has been directly involved in funding 60 of the last 70 FDA-approved drugs since 2017. And just to put that in perspective, a good year for a nonprofit and getting FDA-approved drugs is like 2 or 3. So the fact that they were able to get 60 in the last like 3 or 4 years is pretty incredible. And so Students of the Year is a 7-week philanthropic leadership development program that is run by LLS. And what happens in these 7 weeks is that there's different candidates, and this can be candidates from 1 to 3. In my team, I'm the sole candidate. And then they run a team, and they have a team behind them, multi-generational. So there's students, teachers, family, friends. And what this team does is they try to raise as much money as possible in that 7-week period. And I set my team goal, Team Ben, Max and Impact Fight Cancer. I set our team goal at $50,000. And I think with the support of our community, the support of my team members, I really think that we can not only hit this 50,000, but surpass it.
Wow, that is amazing. So, of course, my next question is why did you choose to get involved with this campaign?
So actually, I've been personally affected by blood cancer. My older brother Ben, his senior year of high school, was diagnosed with Hodgkin's lymphoma. And it was throughout this process I saw him go through the treatments of first chemotherapy, and then he actually had to go through another round of chemotherapy and a bone marrow transplant after the cancer came back. And I just saw that cancer really, it ravaged his body. To me, he was my older brother. I always saw him as being this strong, almost indestructible kind of person. And just to see him in this hospital bed, brought down by this cancer, like it really showed me how much of an impact blood cancer has on people. And once I heard about LLS and the Students of the Year campaign, I thought that I just had to get involved, because after seeing what happened to my brother, I didn't want other families to have to go through that, and I wanted to be able to make a difference in the battle against blood cancers.
Wow, thank you for sharing. So, what was the process of setting up your team and launching this fundraiser like?
So as the first candidate team from Mayopac, this is really like we're starting from the ground up. We had nothing to start off with. I really had to get a lot of support from my staff mentor at LLS and also my team members. And what happened was I was contacted by the staff mentor at LLS. Her name is Devin O'Toole. And she told me about the campaign, and we had a couple of meetings about how to run a campaign. We had a big meeting with a lot of teams about some strategies, like how to reach out to sponsors and how to send out emails and write those emails. And we were like building a team to go into this campaign leading up to it. So starting in around November and December, I started reaching out to family members and friends who I thought would have a personal interest in this, and I think would be like committed to the team. And a lot of my team members actually came from a new club at Mayopac called Students Against Cancer, Mayopac Students Against Cancer. And I just knew that these people would be very invested in trying to, fight against cancer, because they had already shown that by joining this club. And I got a team of about more than 10 people. I don't have an exact number, I think like 16. And we're all working together to they reach out to their family members and friends, and I reach out. I'm the one who leads them and tells them, how to best reach out to family members, how to send out those emails, get sponsors from businesses. So right now we're right in the midst of the campaign. Actually, it started in It started January 21st and it's running until March 11th. So right now we're really trying to like reach out to as many people as we can, get in touch with as many businesses, and have as many fundraising events, which we're actually planning right now. A couple of them, some with student government, like we're hoping to do a scavenger hunt. And this would be running like in the beginning of March. And do you know the Leo's Club in Mayapack?
I've not heard of it personally, but share.
So I was actually reached out to by the Leo's Club, and they said that they were interested in helping me fundraise for this campaign, and they let me know about this awesome event, this ice skating event. I'm actually going to receive more information about that later today, but they
Fantastic.
yeah, they said that they'd be interested in helping, like that, contributing funds from that event towards my campaign, and I thought that was really awesome that we're getting some community support for this.
Absolutely. I think it's great that students are involved in this initiative. Um, so, what has been the greatest challenge during this process? You talked a lot about how it started and some of the great community support you've had, but have there been any significant hurdles?
That's a very good question. So probably the biggest hurdle is trying to get in contact with businesses and like seeing what businesses would be, available sponsors, because this is a time where a lot of businesses are hurting because of COVID, and I understand that financially, like they might not be in the best place. And right now, we're kind of restricted to being online, so it's hard to like go into a business and talk to them and let them know about this campaign. As people in past years were not at Mayapack, but in other communities, they were able to go into businesses and talk to them. So that's definitely a lot more difficult on this virtual realm.
Yeah, absolutely. And I noticed that you have social media set up, and that's why it's so important to keep connected, even if virtually during these times. One way you've gotten the word out to our community is through the Mayapack town newspaper. So, could you tell us a little bit about that experience of being interviewed?
Definitely. So I really, well, first, how I got that interview actually was through my dad's contact. So he reached out to the person in charge of like social media and media outreach for one of the hospitals that he works at. And what happened was she's like, well, the hospital can't personally um, send out word about this and like spread the word because that goes against some sort of rules for the hospital. But she said that she can put me in contact with some local newspapers, and one of them was the Mayapack News. And I had a really, really great conversation with the editor. He talked a lot about how Mayapack is actually known for being like a great source of like community service events like this. He said that in past towns that he worked at, like they get like one or two fundraisers or like philanthropic things like every couple of years. But then in Mayapack, he hears about like he's interviewing kids all the time. Like he just interviewed my friend Zach Cousins for doing an Eagle Scout project, and another person, Matt Cropsey, for doing an Eagle Scout project. And all these people are doing community service events, and he thinks it's really great.
Absolutely. We're really lucky to be in such a community oriented town. Um, so we all know that you have, big plans ahead. Do you have any idea of what type of major you'd like to go into, or if you have a specific career path you're interested in?
Yeah, that's a great question too. So I've my entire life I was kind of like I've been my parents are both doctors, so I was kind of like immersed in the medical world, and I thought I was always going to become a doctor, and specifically an ophthalmologist like my mom. But as I'm going through high school, like I realized that I have interests in other fields, and I'm hoping when I go to college I'll be able to explore interests maybe in environmental science or government. But I'll always like I still love the STEM field. I still love medicine. So I think as I go through college, I'll be able to take a lot of classes in different fields, and I'll get a feel for the kind of vibe that I get, and I'll see what I like the best.
Yeah, absolutely. And you've gained so many skills through this process alone that that'll definitely help. And I know you've touched on this a lot throughout our interview, but are there any last bits of advice on how we, the student body, can get involved in your fundraiser?
Oh, definitely. So the number one thing is just spread the word, tell people about this, send out the donation link, which will be posted next to this video, and what you can do is you just let your friends and family know about LLS, and they might, you never know, you might talk to someone and they might have a personal connection to blood cancer. They might have been touched somehow. So you never really know. And just let people know about it. So that's the number one way that you could help. But also, if you happen to know someone who owns a small business or have someone who works in a larger corporation, a sponsorship from a local business or corporation would be amazing. And this sponsorship can take a lot of different forms. It could be a direct monetary sponsorship. And if you're interested in that, just reach out to me personally at my email, maxsemegran@icloud.com, and I can let you know a little bit more about some of the benefits that come with a direct donation. But you could also buy an ad in a program book that is distributed at the campaign like closing event. Like it's like a big celebration. Typically, it's held in person. This year, it'll be virtual. My mentor said there's like tens of thousands of people who go on this. I think she said 20 to 30,000 people. So you would get a lot of exposure from this ad. And this would be the local chapter where it's like Fairfield, Connecticut and Westchester area where you'd be receiving exposure to. And then you can also potentially donate a auction item for a silent auction where they would like bid for this whatever you're donating. It could be something like if you're a restaurant, it could be a family dinner for four, like a gift card, something like that. Or if you happen to have connections like to a sporting event, you can get tickets for that. So something like that. That's some ways that businesses can get involved. And yeah, any donation really helps. Anything that you can contribute towards this campaign, it all goes towards that 50,000. It all goes towards those cures for blood cancers to finally bring an end to this terrible disease.
Wow, there are just so many opportunities to get involved, and Chieftain is so honored to have been part of that and to have the opportunity to sit down and learn more about your endeavor. So thank you so much. If there's anything else you'd like to add, let me know.
Yeah, make sure to follow our social media. I'm not the one who runs the social media, so I'm really bad at remembering it. I'm not a social media person, but I think it's something like at SOY Team Ben on
Yes.
Twitter and Instagram. So if you can give us a follow there, that'd be good. Spread the word that way too. But yeah, I think that's it. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to talk to the student body and just spread the word about this.
Yeah, of course. Thank you.
Of course. Bye.